What benefits have you personally felt from using the ephgrave chair?
A lot. So I think the main things, when you have experienced back pain for as long as I have, and I've tried every chair under the sun, and being a physio, I've been privileged to try lots of different chairs. The main difference for me is finally I feel comfortable at work. And here in my home office, I actually don't end up at the end of the day with just the middle of my back just feeling like there's a red hot poker sticking through it. Because as try as I might, and I know more about ergonomics than most people, I still just got so tight in my upper back when I was working at a computer. And during the day, I just couldn't get into a chair that would allow me the freedom to move, because I need to move my arms because I'm working on patients, that gave me that freedom to do that and still support my lower back. So for me, it's been about being supportive. It's about the freedom to move. And it's the fact at the end of the day, the rest of my body is just not screaming because it's got so tight because it's been holding me all day long.
Why would you recommend this to your clients for their use? What are the benefits you hope they will gain from using the ephgrave chair?
So I think the ephgrave chair works in many different ways and has many benefits. It holds you and it lifts you. The rest of your shoulders relax. You're not so tired. Again, those hip flexors at the front, which we get really, really tight in a classic chair. Again, if they're not pulling all day long, if we want to go and play sport later on, it's going to allow much more freedom of movement.
Can you explain what you mean by the feeling of being lifted when you're sitting?
Absolutely. And I think the feeling of being lifted only ever came to me when I first sat in the ephgrave chair. And I never really felt that feeling before. And what it feels like it's doing is it's lifting the weight of my upper body out of my lower back. And when my upper body is lifted out in a better position, my head and neck automatically follows that. And it takes you out of the classic kind of slump position that we tend to all do in a normal chair. And we can easily slide down in a normal chair where you can't in the ephgrave chair because it lifts you. It actually holds you into that position. And then again, if we come out of this poking neck position, we reduce our chance of headaches, tension in our shoulders, and just general fatigue.
Sitting in a good position is important because it can have widespread impacts even on your sporting activities, a thing that's not often considered. What's your take on that, Sarah?
I think that's really true. So lots of my people I work with and what have you sit for 8 to 10 hours a day. Even in my job, I'm sitting quite a lot because I'm a foot and ankle specialist, so I'm sitting forward. And I know from personal experience is you finish the end of the day and then you're like, right, I'm going to go for a run. What you have to spend a lot of your time doing, you've got to counterbalance all that 8 to 10 hours of sitting. So we spent ages trying to do dynamic warm-ups in order to open up our body to come out of these very flexed positions and everything else. You always still need to do that. But if you think about it, if you've been sitting really well all day long and you've not had to collapse into everything, and then especially in the front of our hips where we sit and we're flexed to 90 degrees, if we're not hanging on in there, then when we want to go for a run, you're going to be so much more efficient. You're going to be less predisposed to injuries because you're not running on really tight structures. And actually, you're going to run better. You're probably going to run faster, and you're going to run for longer because you're not so fatigued.